Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I'm Aisha from Balanced Minds, and I will be continuing to discuss a very sensitive subject. I know many people have known someone who has experienced this, and this is part two: suicide in men, a mental health crisis. Now, there is a part one. If you haven't watched part one, that's totally fine. I'll do a little recap, but I will wait till some other people join my live. So as soon as I get a few people on, then I will discuss the recap of part one. I hope everyone's doing well. And everyone is okay. Hello, people. How's everyone doing? Right. Just to recap, my name's Aisha Hancox, and I'm the founder of Balanced Minds. The discussion that's going to be happening today is part two of suicide in men. If you haven't seen part one, that's totally fine. It is up there somewhere, so you can check it out. However, I am going to recap on what we discussed in part one, just to sort of like, refresh your memory kind of thing if people have seen it. In part one, I examined the statistics on suicide in men, identifying the key risks, factors, and highlighted warning signs of suicidal thoughts. I also discussed the reasons behind the heightened suicide risk in men, stressing the need of the awareness and support. So I'm going to be, in this one, I'm going to be discussing part two. I know this is a massive subject, and I know it's a very sensitive subject. So you don't have to stay on the live if there's a part that disheartens you. That's totally fine. You can come back to it at a later date because it will be recorded and it will be available once the live's done. However, that being said, welcome everyone that's joined, and I will be discussing part two. So, Balanced Minds, You can check out the website if you would like to. That's not a problem. That way, if you want a bit more insight, that's fine. So I will be discussing part 2. So here goes. Now, this part 2, I will be discussing which type of mental health disorders that are associated with high risk of suicide. I will also discuss suicide prevention strategies, things that can be help to prevent it. How to approach someone who maybe experienced suicidal thoughts, how to talk to them, how to get them to open up. And additionally, I will share a few short videos that address men's feelings, which I believe is very important because their emotions matter too. I'll also have a question and answer part where you can, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. So we will spend about 10 minutes on that. However, what type of call to action? So if you know somebody who's going through suicidal thoughts and things like that, how to help them, what action to take, things like that. And also I will be sharing some resources that will help people as well. So it is quite important on the understanding of disorders that are at high risk of suicide, because there may be someone you know that suffers from any of these, like BPD, borderline personality disorder, PD, BD, sorry, bipolar disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic disorder, SD, schizophrenia disorder, ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and ADHD, attention defect hyperactive disorder. Now, if you know anybody who's going through these or have been diagnosed with these, then please be aware that, you know, sometimes they could have thoughts of suicidal. So it is very important to understanding mental health conditions, as you may know someone who suffers from them. However, these conditions can carry a high risk of suicide. And I know that because I do know someone with ADHD that do suffer with things like that. I know some people who suffer with PTSD, which is quite high in the spectrum of suicidal thoughts. And these people that I know who do suffer from this, Because post-traumatic stress can be all different types of things that can trigger it. They feel like they're not worthy, they're better off not being here, things like that. I also know somebody that might be bipolar, and it is a long process to get diagnosed with any of these mental health conditions. However, if you do think that you know someone that may be one of these, please try and get them checked out by a GP first, to get the right diagnosis and get the right help at the time as well, because it is very, very important to get that sorted before anything else, because a lot of people are not being diagnosed with a mental illness, because there is a lot of people out there that are already probably going through all of these, or one of them, or two of them, and they're not being diagnosed. So it's very important to be diagnosed. So please, if you know somebody that suffers with any of these that I've shared, please let them get checked by the GP and explain, get them explain situations. There's different things to look out for different mental health disorders. So please make a note of all the signs that you see and get them to go to the GP with the signs, because I think that would help quite tremendously for anybody. So this suicide prevention. Now, it is essential to acknowledge when someone is having suicidal thoughts, as this could save their life. Even simple actions can help them see they are not alone. And that's a big thing, because a lot of people think they're going through all these suicidal thoughts or stuff like that, and they think they're alone. It's best to reassure that they're not on their own, and that someone is listening. This is very important for someone who is having suicidal thoughts or even recovering from an attempt to take their own life. Because there has been many people that have tried to take their own life, but never obviously went through with it, and sometimes they'll have a recurring attempt to try and take their own life. But if someone, just that one person, can let that person know they're not on their own and that they are there to listen, it's very important to put these prevention steps into place so no harm can come to them. Putting time aside regularly to talk to that person, and listen what they're going through is a good start. You got to try and listen to them without distractions. So your phone needs to be turned off, TV needs to be muted, and just so they've totally, whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing and actually listen to them. Because you never know, that could save someone's life. You don't have to be able to solve their problems, because not everybody can solve everybody's problems, because everybody goes through things differently. Active listening and being able to understand what that person's going through is the main thing to do. Encourage them to open up about their feelings, because that's a good start as well. Because a lot of people find it hard to open up their feelings to anybody, because they'll feel like they're being judged, and they'll feel like that, you know, you don't really care. Offer support, and then arrange to speak to them at a different time, as this shows your ongoing support. So speaking to somebody, it doesn't mean just speak to them for one day. If you continue the support for that person who's going through suicidal thoughts, that's the best thing to do. Is, even if it's, say, for example, in a couple of days' time or in a week's time, just check in on them, message them or phone them, whichever, and just see how they're going, how they're doing, how their thought process is, because that's quite an important thing to do, because it will help them understand that you are actually listening. You are actually trying to understand how they're feeling. And that's a massive thing. So please, it's a big thing. You got to offer support. Now, I know this is going to be a difficult one, because what to say to someone who may be at risk of suicide. You may feel uncomfortable talking about suicidal feelings. You may not know what to say. This is absolutely normal and understandable. Take a moment to show them you truly care about them, and that they are not alone in this journey. Acknowledge the pain they are experiencing, as it may be beyond your understanding. You may not understand it. However, express your genuine desire to listen and understand their feelings better. The main thing to always avoid is being judgmental or critical. Instead, reflect on their words and respond in your own words to show, this shows them you're actually listening to what they're saying. Because, for example, here is a scenario. If you're a parent, it is a thing that we all do as parents. When your children come back from school, they'll talk to you, and then there's times when sort of like, yeah, I've heard you, and then a few minutes later, you think, okay, what did they say? So you go back to your child and you ask them, and they've totally forgot anyway. So, it's a big thing to actually show active listening. It's ideal in everything that you do So you've got to make sure you express your concerns. Encourage them professional help. Encourage them to get professional help, because they may not see that they have a problem, but it is ideal to get them to get professional help. Inquire about their reasons for living and dying, because people who have suicidal thoughts, they will probably have a lot of reasons why they should do it. Listen to their responses and then delve deeper into the reasons for living. So always make sure that you ask them if they show you a lot of reasons for why they should die or take their own life. Then ask them another question about what things do you think are reasons for good for to live? What reasons for living? And the more you go deeper into their reasons for living, this can help them realize that they have a lot to live for. Because at that moment in time, when they have these suicidal thoughts, they won't see the good and won't see they have a lot to live for. They will only see the negative. So it is a good idea to remind that person that they have a lot to live for. However, if you do have concerns about someone feeling suicidal, ask them direct questions. Now, I know what you're going to say with this. Well, what type of direct questions should I ask that person to make sure that they just don't do it anyway? And here are a couple of examples. One is, are you having thoughts of ending your life? And there's another one. Are you thinking about suicide? So the first thing you should ask someone if they're feeling suicidal, you can ask them direct questions like them. Because it is better to address the person's feelings directly rather than avoiding the issue. Because a lot of the time, avoiding the issue is not the question, is not the answer. You know, you need to ask them uncomfortable questions so that you can offer your support and help and reassurance. That way you avoid, because if you don't ask these questions, you're avoiding the issue. Just one thing to remember, that asking about suicide won't make it more likely to happen. Asking them if they're having suicidal thoughts, sometimes they might not even open up and say, yeah, I am. But it's best to ask them questions, but also keep them safe. It's the best thing to do is to keep them safe. It's very interesting to keep them safe. It's the best way to do it. Now, I'm going to show some videos, and bear with me because I will go quiet a little bit because I'm going to try and share my video, share my screen. So you have to bear with me, and I will share as much as I can. Mm, because I think this is quite an interesting video to watch. It's not very long. The videos I've shared are not very long at all. So here's one. Let me see. One moment, guys. Hello, Conrad. Welcome. Right. Conrad's put, what I always say is to get them to challenge their negative thoughts by asking them for examples. That's quite a good one, yes. If they're saying their kids don't love them and won't need them, or will benefit them if they take their own lives, ask them, how will it benefit them? It gets them to go where the thoughts don't want them to go. That is so true. It's really true because it is all about challenging the negativity side of it. It really is. And thank you, Conrad. Because negativity, it eats you up, and you've got to get rid of that negative thoughts because that's what it is. It's negative thoughts that's always eating up on you. And it's absolutely crazy. So here is the first video. And let's just see. Here you go. How many people thought it was the one with the cap on that video? Do you know what I mean? It's not always what you think. A lot of the time, it's people who are always jolly, always happy, things like that. So it's not always the one that sits there silent. That was, oh, that's a bit strange because it should have come through. Oh, hang on. Hang on. No, sorry, Sherry. I'll look into that and I'll share it again. Sorry, guys. I do apologize. For some reason it didn't go through and I'm not sure why. So I'll try one more time. Yeah, I'll try again, guys. No problem. And I'm glad you let me know. Totally fine. Totally get it. Right, okay. No, that one. Yeah. Right, okay. Right. Can you see that now? Yeah, technical difficulties. I do apologize. I do apologize. But here's the video now. I will show you. So sorry.
Oh, wow. How are you doing? You good? Oh, sorry. Thank you. How you doing? God, it's exciting, isn't it? Hey?
So, how's the week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope things are better outside of football.
Wow.
Hope that helped. It's very strong and hard to actually detect who it was. Because when I first watched that video, I thought it was the guy with the cap. Because he was quiet. However, it wasn't. It was the other one. So let me get to another one. Here's one moment. I will try and see if I can share this one. So they're only little videos. However, they're quite insightful. So it has to be. One moment. I do apologise. Right, here's another one.
Phenomenal. Like, probably had 3 months off work after your first attempt, and I probably got a message off either one of them every week or two, just asking how I was. It wasn't when he came back to work. It was, how are you? What's going on? What have you been up to? And I could tell that I'm making an effort, and it made it easy to worry about myself, because I knew that I had a job to go back to, and the money wasn't going to be an issue. Yeah, he sat me down on the second day I was worked, and had a really good chat with me, and just said, if there's anything you need, just talk. If you need a day off, just message me. Like, I know you probably can't call sometimes. Just let me know, and we'll work through it. We'll get through it, and that was amazing, I suppose, to have that. Probably the best way to do it. I don't think there's.
Sorry, guys. For
any
some
wrong ways to
reason,
go
there's
about
a
it.
technical problem again.
Apart from
Oh my God, these technical people. Yeah, Mr. Large John. Yeah, I understand. It's totally so apologetic. I will try again, but I will try actually on this one. So bear with me, and I will see if I can get another one that's come up onto here. But yes, I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. Oh, what a day. I will try and open this one, another one. It could be that it's not no, I don't want it to go in there. Hang on. One moment, guys. Because these videos are actually quite important, because they actually show that it does happen. Suicide in men, it does happen. So let me open it in this one, because it'd be so much easier. Oh, I do apologise for the information. If you can post the links page and attach the links to the captions, that would be helpful for everyone. Yes, I've done that on the slides. So once this goes live, what I will do is I will upload the slides separate, as well as the ones in the live, so people can, you know, check them out that way as well. I totally get that. Thank you so much, Sherry. I have done that. So I'll share one more video, and then I'll have to share, because of the technical problem, it's going to put me behind, and I don't want to be put behind. So I will present one more video to you guys, and then I will carry on. Okay. Because these videos are very important, but I will upload them to the page once it goes live. Once I've uploaded it and everything, I will upload the slides separate, so people can watch the videos whenever they want. But this one's quite important, I think. So here goes. It's only about 3 minutes.
G'day, my name's Justin Gange, and I worked in the railways for close to 20 years. So Tom has been my boss in different roles that I've had in the railways. A boss, but also a really good mate.
We first met in 2001 at a meeting. I was working in property at the time at Queensland Rail. Justin was in facilities. We had a meeting, I think, about air conditioning or lifts. And this guy walked in with dreadlocks, and I thought, this is going to be interesting. Highs and lows. When he was good, he was very good, and when he was low, he was. You could tell there was something really, really going on with him that he couldn't control himself.
So 2000 for me was tough. I'd done amazing things throughout the year, and I was pretty much physically bankrupt. I was spent, and to add fuel to that fire, my job was in jeopardy. For me, that was crucial in providing for my family.
I think once you get to know someone, you can pick up when something's not quite right. We had a pretty close team, and it was easy to go down daily and just see how he was going and have a chat about things.
Tom reached out to me many times, and I probably wasn't ready to accept it a lot of the times. But this one particular day, Tom was, really engaged, and he really genuinely asked, "Are you okay, mate? I can see you doing it tough." And it was that day that, that straw that breaks the camel's back. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to be fair dinkum. I'm struggling. I'm doing it tough.
I probably didn't realise how significant it was at the time, but eventually I got an idea of just how badly he was feeling and how much support I needed to give him to try and steer him in the right direction. The rail industry, it is very blokey, and men being what they would say, no, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong. It was good that he could actually see that there was something he needed help with.
That was the first step for me, was that acknowledgement that I don't have to put on the mask. I can actually be real. And I'm grateful that he didn't give up just after asking once or twice or three times, that he kept asking. And yeah, grateful for Tom.
I think it's just about being available and not being too pushy. So be there, offer help if they want it, take them away from the work environment for a while, and just to see whether you can really find out what's going on.
After asking the question, Tom did the right thing. He's not an expert, he's not any of those sort of things, but he pointed me in the right direction. I was in the room with Tom, and I called my doctor and made the appointment, and that's all he had to do.
I really think that people should ask every day. If you can ask the questions early on, sometimes you can sort the big problems out before they become big problems.
Looking out for your mates and caring for your mates is it's one simple conversation. And yeah, you don't have to be a psychologist, you just have to care. It's about you caring enough to ask the third time, the fourth time, and then one day that'll be the right time for that person.
How brilliant was that? It's true. If you think about it, that is all to do with suicidal prevention. And suicidal prevention is the main thing. If you think about it, that video that boss was continuous with checking up on his employer just to see if he was all right. And he'd seen the signs, and he made the decision of asking him questions, the right questions. And yeah, a couple of times he didn't see that he needed the help. However, because his boss was persistent and he wasn't like poking the bear, kind of keep on poking at him and, you know, asking him the question, badgering him all the time. He just checked up on him every so often. And his boss saved his life. See, just little things like that can make a massive difference to anybody who's going through this. It really does. Now, because I've had a few technical problems, and I do apologise. I really sincerely apologise for that. But we kind of got there in the end. However, I didn't want to show all the videos. But when this is up, once I've finished my live, I will post the slides to this with the links to all the videos. I will put them up underneath this live so people can watch the videos whenever. They am only short videos, however, it speaks a lot. They speak a lot. So, but now, I'm going to be doing Q and answer. So, anybody who's got any questions, feel free to comment. We are going to spend about 10 minutes on this. So you're welcome to ask any questions. If I can answer them, I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. However, there is resources at the end of this as well, if you needed resources. But one thing I would like to point out, everyone deserves the chance to ask questions. So, as some might wrongly believe otherwise, all questions are welcome. If they think, oh no, that's a silly question, just ask it, because you never know. Questions are there for a reason. So you know, any questions are welcome. But we're going to spend about 10 minutes on this. So I'll just wait for anybody to answer any questions that they might have. Oh, sort of. Here's one. I've got a question for you guys. Do you think suicide awareness and prevention should be more talked about than before, especially for mental health? Because men are the highest suicide ratings at the moment between the age of 35 and 64. Suicide rate has doubled over the years. So, do you think it should be spoke about a lot more than what it was, than what it is, so to speak? Because men's mental health, I think, that matters too. It matters so much that they can't see it. Some men don't see it. Some men do not see that they have a problem, or they can't talk about it. Now, I know Balanced Minds, we provide a safe environment for men to speak up. We really do. Everything is confidential. We do not judge. No one's ever judged, because that wouldn't be ethical of me or for my business. But I know there's a shortage of men's mental health out there. And that's why I want to help men to open up a lot more and to be heard. Because they matter too. They really do. But we got another 5 minutes left. If you have any questions. But if not, then it's... Oh, okay. Hi, Xander. Right. Right. Xander says, my son's friend is going through a tough time mentally. So how can I help my son so he can help his friend regarding who to go to, as my son talks to his friend virtually every day, but keeps going around in circles, it seems, even though my son is trying to get his friend help? That's a good one. the best thing I would suggest is will his friend ask, like, if your son is trying to help his friend, is he offering him mental health help, support, try and sort of like get him the support he needs? Because there's a lot of I mean, he can offer get his friend to contact Balanced Minds. However, there is other resources that can be shared. So there's one called Shout. I mean, if you wanted, pass Balanced Minds details on, and I can try and see, because I can't really, even though you're saying he's going through a tough time mentally, what type of a tough time kind of thing mentally? Is it depression, anxiety, anything like that? Because depending on what it is depending on what support I can offer, if you know what I mean. Because that's why I need. I mean, I understand that your son talks to his friend virtually every day. That's brilliant. But if they're going round in circles, maybe your son's friend needs to talk to me. Yes, he's mentioned about different types of therapist, but I'll let my son know to share balance details for sure. Yeah, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Or even if your son wanted to speak to me and sort of get a bit more to see what he can help with his friend, you know, because without knowing what he's actually going through mentally, I can't offer. I can. It's a catch-22 on that side, respectfully, but unless I know roughly what he's going through, I mean, he can personally message me if that's easier, and I can help that way. That's not a problem. It doesn't have to be on here. He can privately message Balanced Minds, and I will help him as much as possible that way. That's totally fine, because until I know exactly what his mate's going through, I can't exactly put out the support that person needs, because everybody needs different types of support. And that's why with Balanced Minds, we offer personalized therapy. So, because everybody goes through things differently. So I do it as a personalized therapy. If I know what they're going through, then okay, I know I can give them this support, that support, and so on. Do you know what I mean? So it all depends on that, to be honest. But yeah, get your son to personally message me, and or his friend can do the same, and I'll try and give him as much support as possible. That's the only other way I can suggest. So yeah, I hope that helps, Xander. Anyone else who has a question? I'll give it a few more minutes. If not, then I will go on to the next slide. Okay, his friend doesn't know what he thinks. His friend doesn't know what he thinks, to be honest. His friend says he feels he's not good enough. He's spiraling with his mental health, and I think his friend needs professional help. But his friend is so embarrassed to find help, but I'll give it a go for sure. That's brilliant, Xander. Yeah, that's totally fine. And his friend doesn't need to be embarrassed, but I get it. And this is why I want to get rid of the stigma around men's mental health, because they do feel embarrassed to ask for help. And, you know, they feel ashamed. And it's not. I see as men have got to see that when they ask for help, if they're struggling mentally, they've got to see it as a strength. As a strength, not a weakness, as a strength. Because asking for help is the first step of strength. But yes, anything I can do, not a problem. I will help as much as possible. I really will. Right. Move on to the next one now, because I've gone over on the questions, but oh well, that's what it's there for. If you do have any questions, you can personally inbox me and I'll try and answer them that way as much as I can. Right. Now, this one, we have got to call, this is a call to action, right? Raising awareness about suicide in men is very important because their mental health matters. Many men might not even see they need, they don't need help because they don't pay attention to their feelings. Some men don't. I'm not saying all, but majority of them, they don't pay attention to their feelings because it's the way they've been brought up. Often due to the pressure of society to appear strong. This is where I'm trying to create a safe space for men to share their emotions and seek the help that they need. For example, I'm encouraging open conversations and providing support for their mental health. We can lower the rates of suicide and help men take care of their mental well-being if we raise awareness. Raising awareness can be from community support groups, encouraging men to get help when they need it, without the stigma that surrounds men's mental health. Because like I said, the pressures from society to appear strong. Men are supposed to be strong. Men are supposed to be this. Men are supposed to be that. Just deal with it. No. Because men are really important. Men's mental health is so important. It's unbelievable. Because a lot of the time it is to do with how they are brought up. And it is to do with society, but it is also to do with how they're brought up. Suicide in men, we need to raise awareness. Even in community support groups, even in the healthcare system, because there's not much out there or accessible for men's mental health, and I think that's so wrong. You know, it heartens me. It really does, because it's a sign of strength. Asking for help is a sign of strength. You're not weak if you ask for help. It's a sign that you've been so strong for so long that you need help, and that is fine. It is okay not to be okay. You're a human being as well as women. I mean, I know this sounds really cliche because it's coming from a woman. All this is, but I feel so much that men need to be heard, and I'm trying to be your voice. So men's mental health matters. It matters to me, and it will matter to the world, because I am determined to get this awareness of men's mental health to everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Now, I'm going to be providing some resources. And a lot of these resources can greatly help those in need. So if you know someone who could benefit from any of these assistance, please share this important information. And your support can make a significant impact. Because you never know. Sharing anything about men's mental health can help someone. You don't know how much of a difference you could just by listening to someone who's going through a tough time. It can enormously help. And I don't think you realise on how much it can help. This is why I do these lives. And it's a different subject every time I do it. However, this is a big subject. So I've done this in 2 parts. And because it's a big subject, I want to show awareness about it, because it is important. And I do these lives to educate people, to help people, whoever gets stuck in a situation, if they know someone who's gone through that, and it's like, okay, this is how we can help that person. But yes, a lot of these are to help people understand different scenarios of what men go through. Because I don't think a lot of people realise how much men go through. So, with that said, I will be sharing my last slide. And the last slide is thank you for joining me for watching the part 2. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who joined me today on this live. And I know it's been a hard decision, a hard subject to listen to. And I understand that it is very sensitive. And my thoughts are with anyone who has lost a loved one to suicide. Thank you once again for being part of part 2. This is Aisha Hancox from Balanced Minds. Peace out.